This is the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast, with a combined age of 111 years and a combined IQ right in that same range. Your hosts, Frank Cerio and Carlo Russo. Welcome back. Here we are.
Episode 8, Frank.
Episode 8.
Yeah.
And we made it all the way to 8.
We say that a lot. And we made it to episode whatever number it is because, again...
We're exhausted. I literally just finished editing episode 7.
Okay.
And now, but luckily we have that buffer time to get things done. But
it's got to be nice when you're editing because it's fresh to what we did the week prior. So, because I forgot already what we talked about.
Oh, it's confusing. Again, Kelly sits here. I'm over there at a desk and I'm editing and I will ask questions and for permission for things as we go through. And she'll be like, didn't you just talk? Like it's already all blended together.
Right.
Like, I don't know if it was episode 2 or episode 6. It's all together.
Could you imagine people and us, of course, when we're on our 100th or 200th? It's all going to be blurred. It's just, did we say this already? Have we talked about this?
I have a spreadsheet. Every episode, everything we talked about. So we'll be able to refer back, especially now that I know we're going to be doing I Was Wrong a lot.
Yeah. And there might be flashbacks into I Was Wrong.
Yep. I have flashbacks already all the time. So that is there. So are back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Episode 8. Welcome back. So as always, I am Frank Cerio. I am 55 years old and my wife is now 25 weeks pregnant.
Yay.
So the vegetable of the week this week.
This is where I get hungry.
There were 2 different ones I don't get it because it seems to me that these 2 vegetables are completely different size.
Yeah, when I read it, yeah.
It's a bunch of scallions, size of a bunch of scallions, or a head of cauliflower.
No, that's different. Because I'm thinking of a nice sized cauliflower and then the scallions.
The scallions kind of skinny and
so how is that? Okay. Well,
I don't know. That's where we are. So I'm going to go with a head of cauliflower.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Nice. I love cauliflower.
And so the updates developmentally. So she's starting to gain a little fat. She's getting a little plump, not wrinkly anymore, a little more plump.
Oh.
Her eyes might be opening and closing.
Really?
And she can see light, as much light as it gets in there,
as much light as allows.
Almost all of the organs are formed, and she will be breathing in and out amniotic fluid into her lungs, but the lungs are kind of the last thing to develop.
Right.
So that's going on.
So that's cooking up a baby right there. That's almost a.
When they're starting to talk about it, but it's still too early. Like that's the thing that would be the challenge is the lung development. So when they're a preemie, if you have a preemie. That's what they have to work on. But yeah, it's like that's a thing.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
That's awesome.
So that's it. So week 25, cauliflower or scallions.
Which I don't understand that, but
I don't know.
I mean, there's different sizes, I guess. That's what they're saying. It could be
maybe a leek and not a scallion.
Right. That's a nice. That's a nice little size.
Maybe a leek.
All right, we're gonna change our own what we like. Own. And their eyes are opening. Maybe
eyes are opening, blinking, closing, and blinking.
Whatever light is in could be seen by the baby.
The brain is developing and processing senses.
Wow!
So hearing things, we'll remember sounds that she's hearing now, and we'll react to sounds.
Okay.
And that's happened a couple times.
Okay.
So there is
so
that.
25 is that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good week.
We're only 14 weeks from being ready. Right, 39 is probably when.
Then the podcast takes a real quick turn.
Yes,
now it's a baby.
Then we go to once a month for 10 minutes, and it's me crying.
You're crying, and I'm just napping.
That's it.
Frank
is still asleep. We wanted to record today, but he just said no.
You guys understand? It'll be all video of him sleeping.
That'll be it. So that's where we are.
Cool.
And the first thing, as I suspected, I Was Wrong is a segment that is going to be probably in every episode.
I like I Was Wrong. It keeps us humbled, and we just can't say stuff and get away with it. People have to call us out.
I like saying stuff and just getting away with it, but we have it. So I was wrong. So the I was wrong. This one is directly from a family member. One of the things I talked about in a previous episode is the fact that when I was young, because of the age difference with my siblings, that by the time I was in kindergarten or first grade, they were all gone. And I was left with my elderly, exhausted parents who were not super interested.
Right.
And I guess that is not true. My sister Paula was very sure to tell me that she lived at home until I was in second grade. And then she actually triggered a memory. She said, I remember even going to like some kind of a parent lunch thing at Reardon Elementary School, which wouldn't have happened until second grade.
True.
So, cause I was at Roxborough, kindergarten at first.
Okay.
And then I was at Reardon at second.
So I don't know if you mentioned this or I just had a stroke. Did you say what you were wrong when you said you left? Did you? I said
that they were gone by the time I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
And she was very offended by that. And was like, so no, second grade. But that does bring up Reardon. Does bring up one of the things that how parents were engaged in a different way when this would have been 1974.
Sure.
75.
I just got to the beautiful land of America a couple years prior.
There you go. So I had the same teacher. I think I had
same room.
I had the same teacher for 2 years. So I think it might have been kindergarten was one, and then it was kindergarten and first. So it was like the first year of teaching for this woman, and I wish Mrs. LaPlante.
Mrs. LaPlante. Was her name. Shout out to Mrs. LaPlante.
Very nice. She had us in kindergarten, and then she went to first grade, so the class stayed with her.
Are you sure you didn't fail and just repeat the same class?
I'm pretty sure I didn't. I cried a lot, but I don't think I failed.
They might have told you went to first grade, but
it was the same person. That could be. So, but it was so it was the same school, Roxborough, which was on the same side of the highway, same side of Route 11. As my house.
You lived in Mattydale, New York, Syracuse area.
Yes.
So you were going to like the North Syracuse school districts?
Yeah. So if I had lived one block further south, I would have went to school with you.
Closer to me, right?
Yeah. But I was in North Syracuse schools. Gotcha. So, but the first 2 years at Roxborough, and then at the end, I remember it was like the last day of school.
Yep.
And the teacher was like, "Well, good luck next year at Reardon." And I'm like,
"What?" Shipped you right out of the whole school. I
had no idea that she sounded the whole, and everybody, all my friends in the class all seemed like they knew what was going on. And I went home and asked my mother, I'm like, "Am I going to a different school?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" No idea. My mom she had no idea.
So we pretty much had the same parents because my parents had no idea of my education.
She had to call one of my, are they going to a different school?
So was your school closing?
No, but they were realigning. So the district had grown a lot.
Sure.
And it created a very unique situation for us going through school because we kept going to different schools. So we were the oldest kids in the school for 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. Like for 3 or 4 years, we were the biggest kids in the school.
You're adults in that school.
So so you know how that is in a school. And then we went to the high school, which was Cicero, CNS, and that's just 10th, 11th, and 12th. So we went for 4 years being the big kids.
You ran the joint.
Getting our butts kicked all over the school by these. All of a sudden, they're adults, right?
Yeah.
These are
kids
big,
with beards.
Yeah, like that guy's got a mustache. It was very bad.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, that was it. But
that had to be different.
It was.
Hope you enjoy your new school. See you guys.
I was terrified. I'm like, it's on the other side of Route 11.
Yeah, I think communication with parents. If you didn't have parents that allowed that, to made sure communications happen, you were gonna fall through the cracks. Right. Our parents, like my parents, not even speaking English.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck that we even went to school.
That was so it was kind of funny. But I do remember that. So
that was from your sister. You were wrong. Now I did listen to episode 6.
Okay.
And we were talking about what was in the box. It was one of my test.
The Amazon baby.
Yep, the Amazon.
No, that was
the lemon.
The Lululemon 17L, 17 liter, not just model 17L.
Which was also, I was wrong.
Yeah, that was another thing I was wrong about.
Yeah. So someone said to us, and I think you guys mentioned, it might have been Kelly, that you asked 4 questions.
Yes.
So you allowed me to ask 4 questions.
Yep.
Now, the idea was you were going to give me 3 guesses.
And a shake.
You said you can do whatever you want with the box. I'll give you 3 guesses.
Yep.
Now, yes, was there 4 questions that he allowed me to ask? Yes. But I believe when you said you have 1 more, which would have meant the 4th question, I never answered. I never asked you a question. I guessed the box, I believe. So they were right and wrong. You did give me an extra.
I allowed you 4, but you only took 3.
I only took 3, I believe.
There's some controversy happening here.
What should we do?
My lovely wife says you're full of shit. She says, I gave you 4.
Okay, so they're saying it's true. You gave me 4 chances. They're saying that I asked 4 questions. You asked 4 questions. I gave 4 answers. Okay,
we're going to have to. So we're going to cut to something right now. Maybe it'll be a replay.
That'd
we
be
could
nice.
do a fast replay with the questions.
That would be good.
It all depends on my level of skill in editing in Premiere Pro. If I've gotten any good, I'm going to make it look pretty.
Because what I remember, and
you watched it.
I watched it currently. I mean, as we're talking now in real time, and I said, okay, I see what they're saying about the 4th question being given to me, but
you didn't take it.
I never took it.
I
believe.
I want you to be right.
Me too.
But I know. See, I don't even quite I didn't realize it. She pointed it out.
Right.
And I didn't even question it, which is why I'm so happily married.
Right.
Right.
Of course. That's why we have a podcast.
That's right.
We can talk behind their backs and say it was for the show.
Yes.
We don't really mean it.
We don't mean
it was
any
for
of
the
it.
show.
That's right.
But I believe I think I'm going to be right.
I know this is going to be this could be your second strike. Because
that's true. If I'm wrong,
this could be your second strike because editing yesterday. At one point, again, I'm over there at the computer. Kelly is sitting here listening,
judging,
and I'm making an edit, and she goes, "Carlo makes me sound like Ralph Wiggum from Simpsons when you do the Kelly voice."
Do I do a Kelly voice?
It was you did a Kelly voice, and it was and I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
I wish I watched The Simpsons because I have no idea what that reference is.
He's the really, really stupid kid.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, do you want me to tell him this?
Kelly, I do not agree with that. I don't even watch The Simpsons.
That's it. We're gonna.
And I say she's smarter than all of us in this room. Well, let's look into that right now, and hopefully.
So here we are to resolve the controversy. Frankly, the controversy of the podcast across all these episodes.
It's become a scandal. I mean, it's
really,
people are talking about it all over the place. I was at the mall and I heard people saying, "I think he was wrong."
We did the research. And I rewatched it with Kelly.
Okay.
I was right there on the editing computer. Kelly sitting right here.
Okay.
We counted it out. Got to 4. I said 3. Offered 4. And you guessed. You were 100% right.
Thank you.
So you were completely exonerated. The asterisk is removed from it.
Yes.
Watching him deduce what was in that box. Yeah. My faith in you is now restored. You have returned to Sherlock status.
Thank you.
It was absolutely beautiful. The interesting part.
Yes.
The interesting part was suddenly afterwards, I suggested to Kelly, I said, you challenged this. I accepted what you had said.
Right.
Because I trust you. And maybe you should write a little note that I can give to Carlo when we shoot next time. I thought that would be cute. Like a little apology. She's like, well, then the revisionist history started.
Oh, God.
I never said that he asked 4 questions.
Oh.
I said that you offered 4 questions.
Okay.
So suddenly she agreed with you.
Suddenly she's a lawyer.
She invested. Absolutely. It was like a congressional hearing. Like, I don't recall, Senator. Like, I couldn't believe it. So
okay, technically she's correct.
Regardless, in my heart, I know what she tried to do, and I'm glad that we were able to undo it. So again, completely cleared. Take a little victory lap, run around, and there we are.
Give me my crown.
The controversy is over. Down the road. So I was wrong. And now, again, I like all the segments. I keep saying this is
segments
my
are fun.
But this segment we're going to move into now is the Silver Fox Mailbox.
Oh, I love this segment.
So, and I'm going to have to consult my notes because I don't want to get any of this wrong. So this is going to be kind of the finale of the Name the Baby update, right? Yeah. So this is, you guys will be seeing this like a week before Christmas. I think it comes out on the 17th of December. So this is going to be the final list, and you're going to be able to send in your votes based on these. And then I'm going to do a special announcement. We'll tally up the votes, and then either like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, depending on when I have a break from cooking, I will produce a special episode of the Gray Hair Daycare podcast, just so you can find out as a little extra Christmas present the name that the viewers have selected.
So before we go further, the names are out there. I see everything on our page.
Some of them are shared in places where they're not super visible,
right?
But I'm trying to.
I got one from our dear friend Dave.
This is that would be a new one.
Are people voting on them now as we speak? Right?
Well,
what do we?
I haven't seen anybody. Everybody has just submitted their own.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So right now, everything has
we
one.
have clearly recorded was yours for Trina's submission of Madeline.
Yes.
You have voted.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what's leading right now because everybody's just doing one.
Madeline is the only one with two votes.
Right. So
submission and a vote.
Get on it because
Madeline could
that
run
might
away
be the
with
name.
That could
right?
be
Is that the right? Am I asking the right questions? Right? Because people are just giving you a name. Nobody's voting.
So
on them yet.
We're gonna figure out some way, either maybe a Google form where you can vote or something. I'll have a link or a post that you can vote on. We have to.
Because right now, Madeline is the baby's name.
Madeline, it's true. Madeline is it.
I can't go against my wife.
No, I completely understand. No, I think that Madeline.
Or did Kelly give a name?
No, I don't think we shouldn't weigh in. I'm going to be objective. I'm like the Supreme Court.
But my wife can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So Madeline is. Okay.
So Madeline is the current leader. So Dave's submission was this is a new submission.
His submission was Carlina Louise.
Carlina Louise. Okay.
So that's on the list.
Carlina Louise, CLC. Carlina Louise Cerio. So there's that one.
Yep.
The other new entries that we haven't really discussed up till now are Kathy, one of our Facebook family, submitted Carmela Rose. I like Carmela.
Carmela, yes.
Carmela Rose.
Carmela Rose.
Anna submitted Gabriella Marie.
Okay.
See, Gabriella right away is out of for the real name, out of the picture, because one of my cousin's daughter is a Gabriella.
So that was Gabriella
Marie, submitted by Anna. Then Barbara submitted Lucia. Which, again, for the real name, because of my miserable grandmother, I could never do that.
That's going to be eliminated.
It's in there. My sister Lucille submitted Sophia. And with her also providing supporting documentation, said Sophia is the most popular Italian name.
Sophia Loren. So Olivia and Sophia, you got popular names everywhere.
Yeah,
remember, Olivia is the...
Yep, Olivia is very popular. Someone named Mikey, who I suspect may be one of my employees, submitted that they think Michaeline is a very pretty... Michaeline is a very pretty name.
Is that a real name?
It's her name, I think. If it's the person I found, her name is Michaeline. Michaeline.
I've never heard that.
Well, it's spelled like Michelina.
Michelina.
Yeah, like Michelina.
Michelina, yeah.
That's it. Because I had a Tizzy Michelin.
Michelina, yeah. I'm all over that.
So there's Mikey submitted Micheline. And then someone named Sith Lord, spelled with a 1.
Is listening to our podcast? Sith Lord?
They saw a video on TikTok and they responded. But theirs was admittedly the type of submission that I expected most of these to be, which was a little less serious. A play of words on my last name.
Okay.
He suggested first name Fruit, middle name Loop, and the last name being Cereal. Fruit Loop Cereal, which my immediate thought is like that was the thing when I was a kid that I hated the most.
You don't want to name your fake daughter.
I hated them was the like cereal when they said my name is Cereal. But anyway, so there's that, and then someone called Uncle Louie submitted.
Never heard of that.
Jasmine or Bubbles. And I think I'm familiar with Uncle Louie's work.
Yeah.
And between the two of us, only one of us is ever going to raise a stripper, and it's not me. So, but it's still out there.
Bubbles?
Jasmine or Bubbles.
Jasmine or Bubbles.
Which actually, Jasmine.
God, if that wins.
You never know. Uncle Louie could bring to bear his huge audience.
Yes.
And
I heard he was very popular.
It could win.
And
he is.
Sidekick.
He is very
Not
popular.
as popular, but Bubbles.
Bubbles or Jasmine. So those are the new entries.
I will rig this damn thing.
It could be.
Bubbles. Could you imagine calling your fake daughter Bubbles? Because she's a fake daughter on this.
That would be hard.
Me and Bubbles
Jasmine's
and
actually a pretty name.
Jasmine's nice.
But it's also a stripper name.
Right. Well, you never know.
So you never know.
You know, where strippers could be like the new CEOs of.
That's true.
You know, when you're
on OnlyFans,
93
they're
years
all
old.
entrepreneurs. So, and then the others that we already talked about in a previous episode last week were Mariella, Madeline, which we already talked about, Francesca Kelly, Josephine, Charlotte, Nicole, and Kiara. So those are the old ones. The new ones are Carmela Rose, Gabriella Marie, Lucia, Sophia, Michaeline, Fruit Loop Cereal, and Jasmine and Bubbles. So those are the entries.
Is it Jasmine Bubbles? Because people are giving you two names.
I
or
think
is it
he two submissions.
I like one. Just Jasmine Bubbles.
Okay, we can do it that way. So Jasmine Bubbles is the middle name.
Yes, of course.
Jasmine Bubbles Cerio. That'll be it. And then we can call her Jazzy Bubbles.
Jazzy Bubbles.
That'll be it. So
I love it.
I'll put up the full list so you can fully appreciate it. We'll do a post. We'll figure out some way for you guys to vote. And then you can share the post with all your friends so they can weigh in and inflict whatever nonsense on me that you want to. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the book report. And this time, I'm extremely excited about the book report.
You are.
I am, because this is the first one that's not about the dogs.
That's right. These are humans.
And this is really the book that I can wholeheartedly say, everybody, if you're having a kid, this is the book you should
That's
read.
the number one request.
It is the number one best-selling pregnancy book.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of others. It has been published, I think, for years, like multiple versions. This is the 2024 version, and it is called What to Expect When You're Expecting. It is, the author is Heidi Murkoff.
Love her stuff.
And it's What to Expect When You're Expecting, the all-in-one guide, everything you need to know. This is, it's literally like 22,000 reviews, 5 stars.
Wow.
So, and you can see it is an encyclopedic size. It's very, very big, 644 pages. And touches on everything step by step by step, week by week, month by month, what you're going to be encountering. I can say that because I had all the dog reading initially, I started this after, we were well along, and I wish I had read this first, because
would have answered a lot of.
I don't think I would have been nearly as terrified when we had that scare.
Really, it touches that.
It touches on everything. Like, it is literally just questions of the way the book is formatted. It's questions from mothers at different points in their pregnancies, and then a very detailed answer about all the little things that can come up. So it's great from a preparation standpoint, because you can plan, you can also react a little bit more intelligently when weird things happen. And if something happens, it's almost like you can just go to that part of the development and find the thing that's happening, and there it is, and it gives you these insights. the thing I think is interesting about it is over the holiday, talking to my niece Marie was reading this book, and she has a tendency to have some anxiety.
Okay.
And I can see this happening because it is a litany of all these things that can go wrong.
Sure. Yeah.
To give people reassurance.
Of course.
But she's reading it, and it's just like one thing after another.
Anxiety's freaking.
And finally, I don't know if it was a doctor or a friend was like, you need to just stop reading the book, right? Because
here, read this dog book.
Yeah, here, read this. Dogs, bumps, and babies. Bones. You're going to be fine. But no, I can see how it would, because it is like, it's amazing how many different possible complications.
Right, setting you up for everything.
But it really is. But it is a great book. As absolutely a must read. I couldn't recommend. This is a 5 rattle.
Oh, 5 plus
easy. Rattles. But yeah, literally 22,000 5-star reviews.
Would you say the minute you find out you're pregnant, that should be the first book?
Yes.
The minute you find out.
And there are a bunch of others in this vein. The one that Kelly is reading right now is What to Expect in Your First Year with Your Baby.
Gotcha.
So that'll be one of the next ones. But no, absolutely great book. If you're anxious, skim. Right, look at the stuff that you
take your time through it.
Yeah, but
go to another book in between.
Yes, but it is absolutely. I have tons of pages that are dog-eared now to go back to and kind of look at again.
It's nice what you said. You can go to a certain page or chapter. I don't know if there are other.
It's all literally month. It'll talk about the whole month. And then kind of week by
go
week,
right to that.
And
Boom.
You can go there and see what's happening. It talks about what you can expect at the doctor, everything. It is just every conceivable thing that can happen during a pregnancy. There.
Obviously, it's doing some good because it's been around forever, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Top seller. How many different? Yeah. So, no, that's cool. That's cool. So go out there and get your book. What to expect when expecting.
What to expect when you are expecting. By Heidi Murkoff. Again, it's on Amazon. It was on sale this week for like $10. 5 stars, 29,000 reviews. So that is could not recommend more. 5 rattles.
5 rattles plus. Yeah.
Gotta read that.
Good.
So that is Book Report. And we are going to move on now to what just happened.
What the hell happened?
So this week, again, this part of the pregnancy, not a lot of, crazy stuff.
Right.
But the baby is much, much more active.
Okay.
A lot more movement. I felt lots of little kicks and shrugs and things.
Nice.
The one that I thought was interesting was when Kelly described that during Mass.
Okay.
That she felt kind of a stretch, like a hey, I need more room.
That's funny.
Move like that. I think she's starting to understand what the movements are happening on a much more regular basis. Like she starts getting active around the time that Kelly would be coming home because she wants to come home.
Sure.
So there's that stuff. There was a little digestive distress brought on by Thanksgiving food, but mostly it was my family being astonished as I am to witness Kelly having an appetite, asking her, would you like, and her saying, yes. Would you like some? Yes. My brother was fascinated by it. He's like, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was because it's like all of a sudden she became Italian. It's like, oh, you're like the rest of us now.
My God, you love food like us.
You care about food.
Oh, that's great.
So that was kind of neat. The thing that happened, which made me do some research that we'll talk about more, is while we were away, and I think you could attribute this just to me being around my sibling. My relationship with my siblings is more one-on-one with each of them.
Okay.
Because they grew up together.
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
So I think I have a relationship with each of them, and then they have their relationship with each other.
Gotcha.
But it feels kind of like that to me. And so when we're all together, it's interesting because the dynamic kind of changes.
Sure.
And everybody has their different kind of perspectives on
and the way they communicate with you, and
the way they communicate with me, and all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting. But so this could have been just me being used to that. But we went out. My brother's in a suburb of Nashville. So we kind of went around and to see the town where he is. Okay. Cute little town. And we parked and we're walking up and down kind of Main Street. We get back. And no, we go in the last shop. We go into like a t-shirt shop, and I want to buy. There are these things. I don't know if have you ever had Goo Goo clusters?
Remind me what they are.
A Goo Goo cluster. Goo Goo stands for Grand Old Opry. GOO. Okay. It's a candy. It's like they make them. They're like caramel and peanuts and chocolate covered, and then they make a peanut butter Goo Goo cluster.
Yeah, clusters.
Which is my favorite.
I've had that.
It's my favorite candy. And Kelly gets a box of them for me.
Are they like round?
Yes, they're round.
I absolutely know what they are.
They're fantastic. Yep. Love them. Well, we go in the t-shirt shop. There's Goo Goo clusters. I'm going to buy one. So I looked for my credit card. I've had an American Express card that's been like they put on there like member since. I've carried that card since 2006.
Ooh.
So I've carried, now it's a new card, but I've had that card that I've used
18 years.
All the time for 18 years. Yeah. I've never lost a card. Card's gone.
Really?
And I'm like, wow, like I have never lost a credit card. Like I've never lost a wallet.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Strange, but I'm like, so we're walking back toward the car. I get on my little American Express app, freeze the card, ask for a new one. By the time we get back to the car, I'm not worried. I checked the charges. There weren't any weird charges. I must have left it at like someplace when we were coming, when we were flying. So then we get to the car. I've lost the keys. I've lost the keys to the rental car. And Kelly's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm looking at him like, I don't have the keys.
Oh my God, what is going on?
I'm like, what is happening? And I checked the car. It's unlocked. I left the keys of a rental car in the rental car.
Wow.
So I'm like, what is happening? And I think it was my sister Lucille said, you have dad brain.
Oh.
So there is this thing that happens with mothers, but apparently it also happens
it affects us too.
So I did a little research. So this is fascinating.
This is fun. Okay.
So I'm going to read a little bit of this. So fathers experience brain changes after becoming parents, which is sometimes referred to as dad brain. So the first thing is there is actually brain volume reduction. So your brain shrinks.
What?
I had no idea that this was true, but that's what this says.
Okay.
Fathers experience a reduction in brain volume similar to what happens in mothers when they become pregnant. This reduction is thought to be a streamlining process that helps the brain process information more efficiently. A shrinking brain doesn't sound like good news to me.
Yeah, it sounds like less things are going to...
but they say, okay. There is also brain remodeling.
Oh, I need that.
The brain undergoes remodeling, including a shrinking of the visual network and a growth of the default mode network, which is responsible for empathy.
Really?
So you become less visually focused. So I guess maybe if you have an ugly kid, you'll still care about them.
That's why no one thinks they have an ugly baby.
Isn't he beautiful? You gotta see the baby.
I thought it was a monkey.
So so apparently you become more empathetic.
Of course.
Then there are also hormonal changes.
I don't like this.
Fathers experience a drop in testosterone. Didn't know that.
Wow.
The male sex hormone. Then increased engagement is another thing that happens. Fathers who experience a greater reduction in brain volume tend to be more motivated and engaged in parenting. They also tend to feel more bonded with their babies before birth. Wow. And I have to admit, I'm feeling that way. I feel like there is already
a whole damn podcast.
So feeling bonded before they spend more time with their babies as primary caregivers. They experience less parenting stress
than the mother.
Well, than dads who don't have the greater reduction in brain volume.
That don't. Yeah.
Now, all those things sound good. Now, brain volume decrease doesn't sound good.
No.
But all the things that it leads to more bonding, more time as a primary caregiver, experiencing less parental stress, all sound like good things.
That's a great
But then the very next thing that they say is, in mental health and sleep quality, fathers who experience a greater reduction in brain volume also tend to report more depression, anxiety, general psychological distress, and worse sleep.
Well, I can deny all those. I slept perfectly.
You slept like a log.
And that's crazy. So all these good things happening with the empathy, but then you're depressed and you can't sleep. And
yeah. So
my question is, what's it have to do with your keys and your?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about forgetful.
Your forgetfulness.
I think it was just because
dad brain.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the minute you find out this starts happening.
I don't know how.
I mean, I'll
have to do more research, clearly, but yeah.
But you know what I mean? It sounds like it's like the minute you find out your wife's pregnant.
Because it's saying it's happening before birth,
right?
So it's like you just know.
It's just
and all of a sudden it's like a raisin. Like, yep. So now I could understand with the mother, I could understand more because there's all the hormonal changes and then physical demands and all those things. They're more tired. But yeah, for it's like it just seemed like wow, dad brain. I always thought, you know, people would joke around about how once a guy becomes a father, they kind of purposely become stupid so no one will ask them to do anything.
It's like screw up your first.
But maybe it's not. Maybe it's true.
It's dad brain.
It's dad brain. They're infected.
And the thing is your testosterone goes lower just by finding out you're having a child.
Yeah. How does that work?
Your brain's doing. I don't know. It's crazy.
I don't know how that could happen.
Well, that's because you have dad brain. You can't figure it out.
That's true.
But the empathy part.
I do have dad brain.
You can feel that, right? I mean, that's...
The empathy thing, that makes sense. I mean, there's got to be evolutionary things at work that you got to want to protect and care for this little thing that's otherwise...
a psycho. I mean,
yeah, right. Otherwise, you're just going to jail.
Yeah, you're just...
But I don't know. It's an interesting idea. But
it's a new idea for a T-shirt.
Dad brain.
It's not me. It's my dad brain.
It's not me.
Or whatever. We come up with something.
It's dad brain.
It's my dad brain. Well, that's interesting. So when people say, you got it easy. No, our brains are shrinking.
That's
brains are shrinking.
I know the only thing I know for sure about this, everything we've just talked about is there are going to be multiple I was wrong.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
We're going to have all kinds of things. People 9, are like, no, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. Episode 9 is going to have we were all wrong in the whole episode. We were wrong.
Kelly's going to be like, why didn't you talk to me before you did none of this is right.
Well, that's what makes it fun. We just throw out things.
Yeah.
And it might be true or not. And we have more content for the next episode.
I hope that this isn't like... My approach to parenting, I hope, is a lot more deliberate and well thought out than my podcasting.
Hey, listen, at least we're kind of looking up things.
Yeah.
You know?
At least I'm doing a Google search and believing whatever the AI tells me.
We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
Everything's going to be
We'll blame
great.
everything on Dad Brain. That should be the name of the podcast, our episode, Dad Brain.
That could be it. That could be it. So there is one thing that we have not talked about up till now that I think is going to be critical. It came up a little bit while I was with my family because I have shared this with them. And I don't know if I've ever shared this with you.
Maybe.
But you guys have gotten to know me over the course of now several episodes, a little bit. Those of you who are strangers, most of you know me. I tend to be generally, I think, I'm not usually afraid of stuff, bothered by things. I'm not squeamish. I'm usually like whatever. Like I've had lots of things where I've been injured or hurt or.
You seem like a guy is like deal with it. It's not.
Yeah. Like I've been told, I've had different things happen and had medical professionals say, wow, you have a high tolerance for pain, stuff like that. Like
there's a spike through your head. You can't feel that.
Like, are you sure? So, I'm not made of...
You're not soft.
I'm not made of stone, but I'm not a softie.
You're not softy, yeah.
No. So, but when it comes to children and pregnancy and childbirth...
Changes, yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind whenever this has come up for me and the idea of being a dad, and particularly being there at the moment when the child is being born.
Okay.
In high school, when you went to school, did they play you the childbirth video in high school?
Scared the hell out of me.
So
my friend fainted in front of me.
Really? So tell me about that, because that might make me feel better.
So what I can remember, I mean, obviously this is going back 40 years or whatever it is. I remember the day that we were all in there, and today class, we're going to watch the video of birth.
Yep.
And obviously we're 14 years old, 15, I don't even know what grade we're in or age. We're all like, oh, kind of making jokes of it until the video starts and everybody just shut up, because it was watching a horror movie. It was like, what is going on? And they showed everything. If you remember, the crown, everything.
Yes.
And at that moment, I was like, even as a kid going, we're not supposed to see this right now. This is too much for us.
Why are they doing this to us?
This is too much from us. And my friend, I won't say his name, but we'll call him Ron.
Okay.
That actually is his name. He fainted. And he blamed it on because he didn't have breakfast that morning. But we all know there was a human coming out of another human.
Yep.
So it was it stuck with me.
Yep.
And I was lucky enough to see it happen for real.
Right.
And it's that much more.
It's even worse.
It's even worse live.
You're not helping.
So that was yes, I'm sorry if I'm not helping, but that was my experience.
So interestingly enough, Ron and I are of the same cloth.
Okay.
So I don't know. So for me, it was that movie. I didn't think I'd never been bothered by any of that stuff. I don't think at this point in my life I had recognized that there was any issue there. So they're playing the video, and thank goodness for my own sake, it was a movie, so they turned the lights off in the room.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even know what was happening. I had no idea.
You thought you were chitty chitty bang bang.
This is the one time in my life, before then or since then, I have ever fainted. Ooh. And I just said, I feel funny. And I woke up. I did. I ronned.
You ronned.
And I did not, no one noticed, or if they did, they didn't bother me.
Right.
And I woke up and it was over. But as soon as it started to get, I think probably at the point where there was crowning.
Yes, you saw that.
Boop, gone. And I was like, So now, and now as an older person, going through life, talking about that.
Sure.
I've thought about it. And I am like that. When you talk about things like that, I get weak kneed. It's bad. So I have said jokingly in the past, in talking with Kelly and with my family members, like, I want to be the 50s dad. Like, I want to be in the waiting room with the cigars, right? And
bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, a bottle of whiskey. I want nothing to do with that happening. I don't want to see it. And
leave it to Beaver.
So now, so one of the things my sister Lucille, when we were together for the holidays, was like, we need to work on him, like to try, like we've got like trying to like talk me through and make me feel better about doing it. Which is, so now I'm in this weird place of for anything that should be required of me, I want to do.
I'm going to give you advice. I'm going to fix it for you. Okay. That's why I'm here.
Thank goodness.
That's why I'm here.
I'm so glad. Okay.
Because you need to be in the room.
Yep. I got to be.
That is a bonding moment
Yep.
with your child the minute you see him.
Yep.
Or her. Obviously, on your case, her.
Her.
This is what I'm going to tell you to do.
Okay.
Okay. Let the doctors and the nurses do their thing.
Yep.
You look at your wife's eyes. You just stare at her face.
Yep.
Do not worry about down south.
Right.
Don't have to be there. You don't have to. You don't need to worry about that. Let the professionals do that. Because if you're staring at her and talking her through it, everything down there, you're not even going to see it. You're not going to worry about it. You're going to look at your wife and you're going to make sure she's happy. And the minute the baby comes out, they're going to take care of it anyways.
Right.
And now, this is what I'm going to ask. And I probably know the answer already.
Okay.
They're going to ask you to cut a cord.
Yeah.
I said, no, that's your job. You can. I'm fine with not cutting that. Yes. I can bond.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need to. It's like I cut it. So it's not bad if you say, I'm good with that. I don't need to cut it.
Now, have we talked about this is a whole other thing, which I thought might be an angle to avoid this.
Okay.
But there is a thing, it's fetal stem cells.
Yes.
That you can collect blood from the umbilical cord.
Yes.
And then because the stem cells that are in that blood, because they're from the baby, can do anything.
Right.
And then you have to pay lots of money, and they save that. Right. They save that, and then it can be used for the baby, or maybe for so when I heard this initially, my first thought was, who knows? This could keep me alive forever.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Secondly, I thought, hey, that means they're going to have to be careful. I don't want to screw it up.
It's not going to be you going, I won't with a scissor.
They're not going to give me a pruning shears and tell me to do that. So I thought, whatever it costs, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then it seems like Kelly is not of the mind that we should bother with that.
With the stem cells?
That stuff. It's the storage is fairly expensive, like several $1,000s.
If you're just trying to get out of it, just say, I'm not cutting it.
Right.
They'll ask you want to cut it? And you say no.
So now back to your advice. I can picture that.
Okay.
I want to be there with her.
You're going to be north.
Now, what I imagine would be the ideal situation would be like a drive-through window. So there's a wall, and her business is sticking through, so I can't even see that. Is there a curtain?
I don't think there's a wall.
No.
There's just.
I'm willing to make a significant donation to the hospital.
Wherever your head goes is the wall. But if you don't want to look at it, you just don't go down there.
Okay, well that's what I'll be okay with that.
No.
And I will have absolutely no problem with the no. Yeah, you go ahead and do the cut.
The doctors and nurse, they will take care of all that stuff.
Okay.
Now, if you want to be involved, they're not going to say nothing.
Yeah.
But if you want to stay up top and talk to her, hold her hand, you're not going to see a thing.
Okay.
In the minute, and even before that, you can say to the doctor, "Hey, I'm not going to clip it. You guys do that. I'm good. I'll stay up here."
So is that what you did mostly? You just stayed focused on her?
Well. No. I didn't faint in school.
You were brave.
I got involved.
I would imagine that they invite you to be involved. They're like, would you like to see?
I was working the legs. My mother was on the other side.
So you were right there.
I was there. I saw
Good
everything.
for you.
Yeah, I saw everything.
So does this seem incongruent with what you know of me?
No.
Does it seem?
I feel like that this is surprising me.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
It just doesn't seem
I thought you'd be like, give me that. I'll take the baby out myself.
That's the hard part is I know I'm going to be like, this person doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah. Just step aside.
I think you're thinking of what happened to you already. And you think, I fainted and I can't be any better.
But I also know it's there was one of those things, this is another thing. Remember when they first had on cable, when they had the channel that had surgeries?
Yes. Oh,
I literally would go in and program that channel out. So when I was changing channels, I didn't stumble across somebody's foot surgery.
Yeah, keep looking at Kelly's eyes. Just look at the eyes. Just don't even introduce yourself to the doctors. Pretend you're not even in the room.
That's it.
No, I think you'll be fine. Yeah. Is there okay?
I know whatever
is it ideal?
I know whatever it is, I will be required to, whatever is going to be required of me, I'm going to do it.
Right.
But
they won't ask you. They won't say, get down here. They're there.
Get over here.
But they're not going to stop you.
Right.
Right. If you're,
I might try to have a preemptive conversation.
Absolutely. I was just going to say,
no, right. I don't need any invitations. Right.
I remember the part that I remember is, now my mother, she was obviously 23 years younger than she is now.
Right.
And I remember one of the episodes, I don't know if it was the last one or episode 6, we were talking about Natalia was 3 weeks early. Remember that?
Yes.
So we weren't ready for the day. So my mother-in-law...
Your mom was there.
My mom was there, but my mother-in-law wasn't because
around.
That day we weren't expecting. So my mother got involved.
Right.
And she was watching down there as well.
Yeah.
So... And my mother always, has health issues, but not major, but just, And I remember when the baby came and she didn't even see her own children get born. This is the first time she's seen this happen.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, she had us in the 60s in Italy, And then my other brother, Mike, it was still 1975.
Right.
She couldn't see what was happening. She never watched a movie in school.
Right.
Because she never went to school.
There wasn't any of that.
So the first time she saw a baby getting born was her grandchild. And she almost fainted. She was fainting.
Wow.
And I said, I looked up, I said, hey, everybody, let's take care of her. She has a heart problem. Because my mother, I go, let's not worry about it. Yeah, she's gonna be a next problem we have.
Yeah, keep an eye on her.
So if you know you're kind of that person, I wouldn't chance it.
Right.
Because then they'd have to take care of you and you might fall, hit your head. Then they got other issues.
So now, that's true. So now I think the way I'm going to approach it, sadly, is I'm going to, anytime in the past when I've had to face some kind of fear or something I'm concerned about or worried or anxious about, it's just exposure, right? Like just do it. I'm thinking I'm going to just find videos like that, which I'm sure I can, and go in the home theater and watch it on the 100th.
Well, it's better than running into labor rooms and just checking out other people having babies.
Hey, do you mind?
Do you mind? I need to do some research.
I just want to see this.
If I puke or faint.
Yeah, don't mind me.
It's not pretty. I mean, you should. We should all faint. It's honestly
the one. Obviously, a comic that I think we both love, Sebastian Maniscalco, does a whole bit about his wife's the first time. Yeah, his first child being born, and it's everything that I fear.
Right.
But it's hilarious at the same time.
But not seeing that will not lessen or be better for your parenting. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It just like I say, keep your eyes up to Kelly. Keep talking to her. Yeah. Even she's going to yell at you. Yep. She's going to say, "Shut up." She's going to. Why are you looking at me so much?
Right. Stop staring at me.
But I think it's going to come back to bite you if you are the 1950 dad having cigars in the waiting room.
No,
that'll come back.
I don't want to.
Obviously, that was a joke. Yes.
I don't want. Yeah, I really don't. As much as I would like to do that, I don't want to do that. I want to be there for Kelly, but it is. So I think we're going to have to start with. I imagine. Did you do childbirth classes?
Yes.
Did they show a video during that?
I don't remember that.
Did they do this horrible thing to Nikki or Natalie in school? Did they have to watch a childbirth video?
You know what? I know they went through the day of the birds and the bees kind of thing. I know they had that
stuff. Okay.
Is that when they showed it to us? That was more in high school, right? The health class?
I don't think that's the thing. Like, I don't remember any of the birds and the bees stuff. It was just, hey, check this out.
Now, what I remember, the birds and the bees, I'm talking like 6-year-olds, was more like middle school?
Yes.
And then high school health class was the video.
Yes. That was definitely, this was either 10th or 11th grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we saw the video.
If they did do it, they didn't say anything. They came home and they didn't say a word.
They didn't say anything about it.
They looked at their mother totally different that day.
Well, that's your homework. So
I'll ask
for listeners and viewers, if you have any stories where you fainted or any of that stuff, I would love to hear them. But yeah, I think I'm gonna find some videos and I'm gonna watch them.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wear a helmet in case I tip over.
Yeah, if you fall. Speaking about those days, I found something. That now I know you have now. The technology is huge right now, right? I mean, you can look at the baby, you can talk to him. Baby's talking back to you in the belly. I mean, it's all different. So my wife was going through. Trina was going through some stuff, and she found this old school, our first child. And hopefully I'll take a picture of it and you can put it on the, I'll
put it up there.
Old school, that's Natalie.
Look at that.
Now I know your picture. Now what do they give? Do they give you that or is it Polaroids now?
No,
or is it all links in your phone?
Well, in the beginning it was getting like a string of these.
Okay.
And then it was right to the phone.
Okay. Because we never have that, obviously.
But yeah, that's awesome.
That. So we'll take a picture of that and we'll put it up right now.
I will scan it and put it up for you. Absolutely, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's 23 years old.
Wow.
And that's now if you look at this, and I remember telling Trina this. I'll give it back to you, and you look at it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
From the moment I saw that picture, I looked at it. I said, "That's a boy." I have no idea why. It doesn't make any sense. It could be a girl. It could be a boy. But for some reason. The minute I saw that child, I said, that's a boy.
I think it's because the profile looks kind of like a football helmet.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So that could be it. But
it's funny.
But you were right.
I was right. So when you looked at your first picture of your beautiful daughter, did you have any feel like that's a girl? Well, that's a boy. Like I did.
The first time there was a good profile picture, like profile like this, absolutely looked like a girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not crazy.
Yeah. No.
When I saw that, that's what I felt.
Yep.
And I was right. So, but let us know if you did the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember Trina going, "Are you crazy? You can't tell if that's a boy or a girl."
That's a boy.
Like, I'm telling you, I look at that face and I just see a little boy.
That's awesome.
So I wanted to bring that in.
Yeah.
She was going through this stuff. I go, oh my God, this is for the podcast.
That's perfect.
So
very nice.
Very cool. Yeah.
Awesome. So anyway, I'm sure we're gonna talk more about my my exposure therapy to childbirth.
So you're gonna go watch videos of this.
I'm just gonna pull the Band-Aid off and start watching videos. And
it is a strange thing to show young people. I mean, if you're talking about contraceptive, I mean, if you're talking about what's the word I'm looking for? Resistance from sex. That video will do it when you're in 10th grade.
Well, that's
you're like,
it's
no
also
thanks.
It's very like this is before the internet, before any of that stuff. Kids now are exposed to so much crazy stuff on the internet now.
Stuff is everywhere.
That's like whatever.
You're right.
Yeah, but for us,
because we had to go find it.
Yeah,
I mean, we had to go into a woods where somebody left magazines in a 6-pack. Like, oh my God, we found gold.
What is this? Yeah, I mean, it was a very different world.
You're right, because right now everything's on their phone.
Yeah,
if they want to see.
Whatever.
From the ugliest to the cutest thing and everything in between, it's right there.
It's on their phone. They can find it. But
I remember it was like the video was like done in the 70s. You could tell that video that was shown to us at high school. It was all 70s. And I was just so confused. Like, I remember going, I shouldn't be seeing this.
Yep.
I felt like it was like, this is not for my eyes.
It's like the one they would show you for driver's ed.
Remember the video? That was scary.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But again, I bet kids now, like they play video games where people explode. It's very different. They're kind of desensitized to it.
Well, I hope you get through this. I know you will. But always remember, if the videos do not help you, look at her face.
That's it.
Tell the doctor before. Don't ask me to do anything.
Right.
You do the cutting. You do the laboring.
There's no DIY. The only DIY I do involves DeWalt tools.
Exactly. That's
None
it.
of this.
And I think you.
And I'll just look right at Kelly and say, "Hurry, please."
Yeah. What the crazy thing is, I remember my second for Nicholas. It was pretty quick.
Yep.
Not like Natalia. Natalia was like, we could have had it in the parking lot if we didn't hurry.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Nick was a little bit longer.
Yep.
But I remember after, and I was sitting by myself again in a different room, just kind of relaxing, going, "Oh my God, that was crazy." They took the baby already and all that good stuff. And I was watching this poor lady being walked.
Oh, trying to get it to start.
And I want to say she was past 24 hours into her, into her 48-hour labor. Just, and I'm like, so that could also be a situation.
That could. Well, I mean, typically it sounds like because of Kelly's age, in week 39 they're going to induce her.
Okay.
So there's the predictability of that. Initially, it sounded like Kelly seemed to think that they were going to just want her to do a cesarean.
Okay.
And what's interesting is I heard that and I was like, oh.
And then you just come in Tuesday.
Yeah.
And you're going to be a daddy.
I'm not there for that. I didn't think, like with the surgery.
It's surgery, right.
Right. So I thought, hey, maybe I skate by that way. And then I realized, I'm reading these other things. And then I realized that one of the reasons why cesareans are done way too much now, most of the time they are unnecessary. They prefer natural birth, vaginal birth. And one of the reasons is that the baby is in a sterile environment.
Sure.
So when you have a natural birth, the vaginal birth, the bacteria that are there, that is the first exposure to bacteria and is the beginning of the baby's immune system.
And it's meant to be that way.
Right. It's meant to be that way.
Because it wasn't meant surgically removed.
Right. When you do a cesarean, it's sterile environment to sterile environment. So the first bacteria is whatever lives in the hospital, which is not as good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't even hope for that because I don't want that for the baby.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm sure I'm going to be okay, and there will be more. I don't know what episode we'll call that.
Right. Are you sure you're not in the room for cesarean?
I don't think so.
They might clean you up and get you in there.
Maybe. I don't know. I hope not.
Just trying to scare you into something.
Either way. Hopefully that's not going to go that way.
That'll be another homework of mine because I know somebody who that's how they were.
Try that out.
Brought into this world.
So that pretty much covers what just happened and our new segment called Frank Faints.
Movie time.
So, but the last, that's right. Movie time with Frank.
Oh, goodness.
So the last thing, last episode had our very first lullaby.
Yes.
Lullaby Land is now a thing. So we're going to go to Lullaby Land. And this week, the song is, and there was some interesting trivia around this song.
Okay.
So the song that I did, which I haven't recorded yet, but by the time you see this, it will be recorded and you'll be able to hear it next, is Good Morning. So Good Morning, written by Ignacio Brown. I don't know who that is.
Love his stuff.
Lyrics by Arthur Freed. Ignacio, he had to be Italian.
Ignacio.
But last name Brown. I don't know. So Ignacio Brown, lyrics by Arthur Freed. It's associated with, I always thought this was Singing in the Rain. That's where it famously was.
It came from.
But it was originally written for the 1939 film Babes in Arms.
Oh. And
it was performed by the stars of that film, Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney.
Really? Yeah. I love Mickey Rooney.
Judy, a huge, biggest star. He's a big star. But it was more famously performed in the 1952 film, Singing in the Rain by Gene Kelly.
Of course.
Donald O'Connor.
Yes.
And Debbie Reynolds, but not, this was another interesting thing, that was not Debbie Reynolds' voice.
Wait a minute.
Princess Leia's mother.
So Princess Leia's mother was lip syncing.
For some reason, because she sings.
She was Milli Vanilli-ing it.
Yeah, she was. It was actually dubbed. So the voice that you hear in that movie is a woman named Betty Noyes, N-O-I-E-S. So it was not Debbie Reynolds singing. It was Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, and the voice of Betty Noyes.
Wow.
But also that recording is listed as number 72 in the American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Songs. So very popular.
Very popular.
So I've turned it around a little bit and turned Good Morning, the upbeat dance number, into, I think, a cute little lullaby.
I cannot wait to hear this.
I think you'll like it.
Because I know the song.
Yep.
So it means when you hear a song that you know, turn into this, it's interesting to hear what you do with it.
It lends itself very well to I think, but that'll be coming up right after this. So we hope you enjoy Good Morning. And also, again, give us any suggestions if you have other ideas. I keep coming across different possibilities for this, but so I think we're going to be good for a long time. But give us your suggestions for lullabies to do as well. But other than that, we have made it to the end of yet another episode of the Gray Hair Daycare
great
podcast.
Episode. I hope you guys learned a lot. We did. I learned that you fainted in school, like you rhymed it.
I did.
So this is interesting. I love doing this. I talk to my wife all the time and tell her how exciting it is, and she's following. We want to thank everybody that's following our podcast and also following on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having people seeing things and not immediately turning us off.
Right.
Is nice. It really has been. I've talked to a lot of friends and family who are interested, and then there's people like my brother who just can't make the time. I guess can't break away from.
He's very busy traveling.
Very busy retired person.
Yeah.
In Nashville.
We're calling you out, Mike.
Wife isn't even in the country. She's in London. He's there all by himself, him and his dog.
He could just turn it on and just keep it playing in the background.
Yep.
Learn a little bit more about your brother.
You think he'd be a little interested? A little bit.
Maybe
it's okay.
We'll have a segment. This is for Mike. And we'll just talk about tires or something.
Maybe if I mention him, if I mention him enough, maybe
somebody will get to him.
Yep. That'll be it.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway. for those of you, unlike my brother, who have stayed with us and are watching, thank you very much. It's great to hear from you guys and to see the interest and hear the stories. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you again for sticking with us, and enjoy Good Morning, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Talked the whole night through. Good morning to you. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you. When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Now the milkman's on his way, and it's too late to say goodnight. So good morning, sunbeams will soon smile through. Good morning to you. Good morning, we've gabbed the whole night through. Good morning to you. When we left the movie show, the future wasn't bright. But came the dawn, the show goes on, and I don't want to say goodnight. So say good morning. Rainbows are shining through. Good morning to you.
Well, folks, that's another episode of the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast in the books. Thanks very much for tuning in and spending this time with us. We hope it was fun. If you enjoyed this week's descent into the madness of dadness, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of our future adventures. And while you're at it, give us a like and share the cast with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Carrier Pigeon, whatever you crazy kids are using. Have any hilarious parenting stories of your own? Questions about navigating fatherhood later in life, or even when normal people do it? Email us at ghdc.podcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to bed.